Hey guys, this is White Manga here with Saturday AM. What was that?
Nothing. Kind of going in and out.
Are we live?
Yeah, you guys are live.
Welcome, guys. Let's just roll. This is White Manga here. Sorry for that little hiccup, but White Manga here with Saturday AM to review March Art Madness, the toughest art tournament on the planet, and we're going to be going through the entries for the fourth round with Pandemonium Toys. And I'm just going to allow Fred, CEO of Saturday AM, to kind of take it over from here. We will go through all the other judges here, and we'll just enjoy all the fan art that has been submitted, and we'll kind of go from there. Fred?
Thanks, Whyt. Everybody, thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate having a chance to talk to the incredible audience that Whyt has every single day on his channel. As you guys know, White Manga is a founding member of Saturday AM, the world's most diverse manga anthology. His hit series, Apple Black, has excited people around the world. And so we're really excited to take this tournament, which is the world's biggest fan art tournament, and one of the toughest, to you guys directly via Whyt's channel. If you guys don't know, it's our 5th year doing the tournament. We invite artists from around the world to participate by doing a very grueling weekly aspect here, where you have to all the time produce a new piece of art every single week. And so it's tough, as we said, but it's really fun, and for both the fans and I think for the artists, because you're constantly getting a chance to look at some really gorgeous artwork all the time. So with that being said, this is round 4, and so what makes this round really interesting is that we have an entire theme this time. It's not broken up by different groups. Every week, typically, there'll be artists who are in different groups, and they have different themes for each group. This week, we're down to the final 8, which is actually 7 today because we had one person drop out, unfortunately. And so with that, we have one unified theme, and it's all about toys. And we're super honored because the toys that are being referenced here in every piece of artwork generated for this round is courtesy of Pandemonium Toys, a brand new company. It's been around for a little while now, and we've been super honored because we actually have the head of that company, one of the creators of this new line of toys that they have called Alternation, Ryan. Ryan, I'm sorry, Ryan, I had your last name that totally escaped my mind. What's your last name?
No problem. It's Ryan Magnan.
Ryan Magnan. And Ryan, I've had the pleasure to meet Ryan on a couple of occasions virtually, and then one time via Toy Fair this year. And we got some exciting news about that as well at the end of this episode. But first, let me introduce everybody else, and then we'll talk to Ryan for a few minutes and before we get started on today's episode. So first of all, as our judges, we have the aforementioned one and only White Manga. How are you doing today, Whyt?
Doing great. Hope everybody's staying safe too. But yeah, I'm doing great.
Excellent. All right. And then we also have Mr. Jay Oden. Jay, how are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm doing pretty well.
Excellent. Jay Oden, of course, the creator of Hammer. We'll be talking about all of our series here shortly. We have Morgan Walker, creator of Soul Beat. Morgan, how are you doing?
Doing great. Happy to be back again.
Excellent. And of course, we also have always some incredible help from our social media manager. This is Jackie Rendy, and so she'll be continuing to help us get everything organized for today's chat. She's done an excellent job working with this year's March Art Madness participants. And so Jackie is in the background. But Jackie, if you want to say hey real quickly, we'd love to hear from you.
Hey, everyone.
So we want to thank Jackie. We want to thank her husband. We want to thank all of our judges. We'll talk a little bit about what it means to be a judge on these special review shows. But first, as I indicated, we're going to be talking to Mr. Ryan Magnan, the head of, or one of the founders and creators of Pandemonium Toys. Let's chat real quickly about Pandemonium Toys. Let's chat with Ryan about this really cool toy company. And when did you decide to start Pandemonium?
I guess 2017. I wanted to. I'd always had a passion for coming up with characters and stories, much like the folks on this channel and participating in this tournament. Excuse me. And I analyzed business and just thought, well, there's a lot of great independent comics and animation and even like apps and video game type things happening. But so I didn't feel, I felt like to differentiate and to stand out, toys might be a better medium to use for storytelling and character creation. It's a little more risky though. So there's a higher upfront cost, but yeah.
Wait, now had you worked in the toy industry before?
I had not. I had done video games prior, creating mobile apps for toy companies. I did have a little bit of exposure to that and to just general IP development, as well as working in film and podcasts and things like that. So had an entertainment background as well as a little bit of marketing experience with toys, but not directly creating toys. And that was quite a challenge to learn. And I made a lot of mistakes.
Well, I was going to say, obviously, if folks are watching the screen, we're doing all this. Obviously, COVID-19 is tough, so you're having to coordinate everything virtually, and so you have to go through your trying to make sure everything's loading up correctly and so forth. So we apologize as things take a little while to load, but we're currently on Pandemoni's website, which we hope you will check out at Pandemony. That's PANDAMONY.toys. I'm waiting right now for the line of toys they have called Alternation to load up. While this is loading up, Ryan, I think what's really interesting with your situation, and I think a lot of our fans would love to hear, is so you had no experience making toys. You decided to make toys, and you said, which I think guys appreciate as well, is how difficult that was. And these are not toys, to be clear for everybody, that are based on something already. These are completely original. Is that right?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I thought the audio cut out. Yeah. No, that was part of the company mission was to launch IP, or at least find a partner to launch IP with. And we decided to go it alone on this one, and kind of just arrogantly assumed that if we could make really cool character designs and a compelling story, that partners would come. We lucked out in the fact that we eventually did get Dark Horse on board to license this, and they're creating a comic with Tim Seeley and Mike Norton as the creative team on it. So we're thrilled, and we're hoping even more animated series and apps and stuff. We're working on getting partners in those areas.
That's awesome. And so real quickly for our fans then, if you can advise, they all can see now how awesome these toys look. And again, folks, toys have lots of different, aspects to them. But when you have a super detailed toy like what we just saw for some of the figures, and they have various points of articulation, and these are completely built from scratch. These aren't like based on Superman or Batman. That's superhero level work there for Ryan and his team. Ryan, what's the story behind Alternation? What makes these toys so unique?
Oh, okay. Well, there's two. I'll cover the story as well as the product. The story behind Alternation is that in the not too distant future, the military wants better soldiers. So they get the idea to create soldiers from mixing animal DNA with human DNA. And the catch is that these soldiers don't realize they're an experiment initially. They believe they were just born this way, and sort of like cryptids like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and things like that, just freaks of nature, if you will. So we start kind of prior to them. We start the story prior to them discovering this, and without giving away too many spoilers. I don't really believe in spoilers, but that's the basic crux of it, and we're going to follow them on their journey as they kind of uncover this will uncover this cover up, and as well as maybe some future cover ups down the road.
That's
So
cool.
there's
Like,
that. That's the story aspect. The product aspect is when we were talking to kids a lot, we kept asking them, why do you like this concept? We had various different concepts. Some different IPs with just human heroes, some with heroes from history or the future, and yada yada. And they kept coming back to they liked part animal, part human, because they believe that the power that implies that, wow, you would be a human and intelligent and act like a human, but you could have special powers like the chameleon changing colors and things like that. So we put that sort of affinity for the like of animal abilities into the toy. So you've got Sham on the screen right now. He's a chameleon. His paint changes color to go clear, and he has a sticky lizard tongue that can pick up objects and darts in and out with the flip of a switch.
And then we have Sabotage. What about him?
Sabotage is one of the villains of the story. He's upset that the military used to use cyborgs, but they found them obsolete when they could use these natural abilities of soldiers rather than cybernetic enhancements that were too costly for the bureaucrats up in wherever. I guess it would be Washington, but we haven't really set that out yet.
Okay. One thing I do love about this figure is just obviously you go from Sham, who's obviously a different body type, to this. Again, we'll talk about this as we go through the episode, but just the difficulty of like having a line of sculpts for a line of action figures and going from one body type to the other. I don't think people realize that when you and I were kids, you had one body type. That was it. The Luke Skywalker, you switched the head out. Maybe you changed the arms or the legs in terms of what they wore, but the body was roughly the same. And this is just such a different figure than the last. Next up, we have Albert 7. What's his deal?
First action figure to come with a working whoopee cushion in scale.
Right. I do see that. I know. I like Albert's character arc. He's got the prehensile tail.
Yep. Yeah, that's his toy feature. We didn't feel like that was enough, so we also made him the prankster of the group. Every character has to have kind of a personality, because that's part of character design. Is you want to also think about the character's personality. So he's got, as the prankster, he also has a mallet with a boxing glove inside, and he's got a banana cream pie, and of course, as mentioned, the whoopee cushion. And if you'll notice, he's got a literal banana clip on his military issue rifle.
I didn't see that. I do love the detail as well and all the accessories that come with the figures. And these all come with the figures, is that right? Correct,
yeah. And also the figures come with a mini comic, which I didn't mention, a collector's mini comic that's also available as a digital download for free on our website.
Awesome. Okay, so then let's get through a few more characters here, and then we'll I want to set these characters up, because then you'll see some of them, not all, but you'll see some in the artwork we're about to review. We have Alpha.
Right.
And he looks obviously like a bad guy, but tell me more about Alpha.
Yeah, Alpha was the original, as the name implies, the original animal-human hybrid experiment. He actually does know that he was an experiment, and he was considered too powerful for the powers that be, and he escaped before they could kind of put him on ice, and that was literal, because we're dealing with kids. We don't want to say, hey, they were murdered or whatever. We say they put on ice. They were cryogenically frozen in this case. I'm going on a tangent, but that's a little bit of trivia. And so his sorry, what was that?
I said that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's worried about kids, man. I get it.
Yeah. So yeah, he was designed to be the most powerful animal-human hybrid available. He's got poison claws. He's got wings. He can change color. He has multiple arms, as you can see, and he's super intelligent. Doesn't need sleep. Things like that. And the other thing I should mention about that is these are all real animal abilities with our characters. So all of those were pulled from nature. And yeah, I think that's about it. His toy's going to have like the open mandible, kind of like Predator, and switch activated, and he also has color change. We're working on some other stuff. His toy isn't out yet, but keep an eye out for that. See if we had any surprises.
That's pretty awesome, man. That is pretty cool. I mean, I remember the old gimmicks used to be, color change to the figure because of, like, at nighttime it glows or whatever. But yeah, that is interesting. Okay, next up we have Quilroy, and I remember again, a big bulky character, but he seems like a cool guy. He hangs out with Albert 7.
Yeah, he is. They're kind of I'd say the comic relief of the team, or the less serious characters. He's sort of the weightlifting dude bro, and drinks his energy drinks and likes to live extreme and all that sort of thing. We've all met folks like that, I'm sure, and we love them. Or maybe you don't, I don't know. Excuse me.
No, that would be Jay.
What's that?
In our group, that would be Jay. He's a dude.
Gotcha.
He likes to drink.
Cool. Well, you'll appreciate. Yeah, he's part. Along with being big and tough, he's part bat, he's part rhino, and part porcupine. So his toy feature is that he can shoot those porcupine quills out of his back. And he also has some interesting accessories, such as a bow and arrow, and the arrows are interchangeable. That was inspired a lot by Splinter from the original Playmates Ninja Turtles. So he came with the bow and arrow, and he also had a cane that could be removed to expose a blade. We kind of wanted to put some of those play features into the accessories as well. He also, Quilroy also has a flail made out of his his weightlifting equipment, as you can see, and it has a real chain that moves.
Yeah, well, that's very dope. Yeah, I'm gonna look at it right now. Out of curiosity, as we look at El Rey, do the articulation, the points of articulation, obviously shoulders, legs, do they break at the knees? Obviously the head swivels. What are the are they different by character?
They are different by character. Some of the action features do inhibit some articulation, but we tried to put as much as possible in regardless of that. I mean, whether that was the case or not, we would try to put in as much as we can. El Rey has quite a bit of articulation because his action feature is all in the torso. So he has shoulders, elbows, wrists. He's got the hips and the head. Sorry, I think I missed that. And knees and ankle. But the details of all that could be found on, if you go to our website and shop, we lay out all the points of articulation on the purchase page on store.pandemonium.toys, or just go to alternation.toys if you want to find
now,
that.
Is El Rey a leader in the team? It says natural leader.
Yeah, he is natural leader. Pardon?
Is he the leader of the?
So he's the leader of this sort of squadron. There's also, sort of higher ups in this, whatever you want to call it, a hierarchy of military command. And the whole team is run by a human named Commander Stone. Commander Stone does know about this cover up, but he still kind of keeps it on and he cares about these young folks, but he still does keep the cover up going, and eventually we'll find out his motivations as well as what choices he actually makes. So I'm just going to silence my phone here.
All right, so we had a few more here. We've got Dart, which I think was a personal favorite. I can't speak for the artist in the tournament, but it seems like it was a personal favorite. He pops up a lot. Tell us a little bit about Dart.
I treat all of my toy children equally. He is very popular with the fans. Some people do give him grief over his fashion choices of wearing some cargo shorts there, but most people like him a lot. And his backstory is he's the youngest of the team. He was sort of created in a ancillary experiment that lasted a little longer, and even though he is the youngest, he's the biggest of the team. We thought that was an interesting juxtaposition, that you always kind of also want that in your character art, is to think about funny contradictions like that. So he's a youngster, but he's absolutely the largest of the group. And because he's the youngster, you can see the other question we get the most about him is, what's that little guy next to him? That is his action figure. So he is an action figure that collects action figures. So you've got action figure inception there. If that kind of gag is still funny, I don't know, but people used to say "ception," and maybe they don't anymore. I'm rambling. But his action feature is that he can do a backflip like a dart frog, and once you get good at it, you can definitely make him land on his feet and do tricks and things like that.
Oh, that's pretty dope, man. I think the color scheme definitely works for him. One last thing I want to hit to is Bomber. Bomber obviously looks like a bad guy. Real quickly on Bomber.
Yeah, so the story with him is he used to be with the good guys, and he eventually started following Alpha. So he's sort of less crazy Renfeld to Alpha's Dracula. Alpha's almost making this sort of like I don't know if the best way to start it, like a cult or a kind of an organization. He's trying to build up hybrids to take over the world because of their ideology, and so Alpha's sort of the first disciple of that. And his toy isn't quite out yet, but it's going to feature a kind of a catapult tail that shoots a sticky ball of sticky rubber ball, kind of like liquid filled.
That's all. Okay, that would go at the top. I take it then.
That goes at the top. Yeah, his animal DNA is bombardier beetle and scorpion, so you kind of can see the scorpion spikes at the top, and also bombardier beetles is they shoot out a caustic liquid in real life in nature.
That's awesome. Okay, so folks, again, these are the alternation toys. There will be more figures in the line, but again, I met Ryan a little while ago. So impressed. In fact, I read about the company last year. They had some good write-ups across a number of websites. Highly recommend you guys check them out if you love cool action figures, and especially if you love originality. Again, the same way we support, the way Saturday AM stands for original intellectual property that our creators have all made themselves, and we're using that to create a company that can take on the big companies, the Marvels, the DCs, the Images and Vizes, and so on and so forth. I think here, it's great to see a company doing the same thing. You see it in video games, you see it in music, but to see it in toys is more rare, and it's really awesome to have a chance to work on this particular round with Ryan and what they've done at Pandemonium with Alternation. So, Ryan, if people want to check out the comic and check out the toys, they can do all that on the website, right?
Correct. Yeah, we have a easy way to get there, alternation.toys. It'll redirect you to the right page. And also, Fred, I just want to say thank you for the kind words and for appreciating what we're doing.
Oh, no, same here. We appreciate you guys letting us work with you on this. So, all right, folks, well then, now let's get back to the tournament. Let's get there real quickly. Before we do that, of course, let us make sure you all know that, again, we've got awesome judges. Now, you've heard Ryan speak, and Ryan will be judging the artwork as well today. In fact, he's our special guest. So Ryan's votes will have some extra nuance to them when we vote at the end of today's show. But our judges, the standard judges, those creators who've helped build Saturday AM into the world's most diverse manga anthology, they are here today. And I just want to make sure you guys know that we have produced over 100 issues of Saturday AM digital magazine. We have a physical magazine coming out later this year. We have graphic novels that have been out. We have some new graphic novels coming also. But again, we are here thanks to having amazing support and amazing creators from around the world. Again, we've got creators like Jay Oden here, creator of Hammer. You can see Jay's brilliant artwork in the cover for issue number 108. And of course, we have, look at that. That's Jay's character Hammer. And then, of course, we have the one and only Whyt Manga. I'm trying to find your last cover, Whyt. It's been a while since you did a cover, Whyt. Here's Mr. Whyt Manga himself. What's that?
No, you found it. It's issue 106.
Yeah, was that the last cover you've done?
Yeah, it's the last cover I did.
Lord have mercy, man. That's almost 11 issues ago. It's 11 issues ago. Well, folks, Whyt will be returning. Whyt, when are you coming back?
Apple Black will return in Saturday AM this summer with Apple Black Volume 3 content. So a lot of people are looking forward to that. And you guys will be able to see all the fun stuff as we close the current arc that's happening in the series and, have fun with that.
Yep. So, folks, again, I apologize. We got so much stuff going on here. And, of course, everyone now was at home. So broadband is slower and slower all the time, but I was clicking on the covers. You guys can check it out. But of course, if you want to see all of our issues, you simply go to our website, www.saturday-am.com/issues. We have a number of free issues on our website that you can download right off the bat for free. Of course, if you want to subscribe and support us, you can do that as well. But folks, the best way to subscribe, to check out all the content, and get a lot of exclusive content even, is to download our app. You can do that at www.saturday-am.com/app, APP. We have a fantastic app, 5.0 rating on iOS for Apple users, and I think a 4.4 or so on Android. So we're super proud of the reception we've gotten. But you can find all that on our website at www.saturday-am.com/app, or on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. The app is called Saturday AM-Global Comics. And there it features a lot of our library content, Saturday PM, which is our adult magazine, Saturday AM, of course, which is focused on shonen style content with diverse characters. And we have a brand new magazine coming called Saturday Brunch, which will feature female/LGBT themed content. We're super excited about that. We'll talk more about that later today. With that being said, let's get into March Art Madness. Now, again, this is round 4. So, folks, we began with 64 artists from around the world. I mean, around the world. I'm talking from Colombia, Latin American country, Mexico, Brazil, all the way up to the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Italy, France, Germany, Serbia, Ukraine. Then you keep going over to India, South Africa, Nigeria, Gabon, Congo. Then you keep going over to Australia, Iraq, Israel. So it just kept getting amazing response. We're so proud of our brand having grown so much in the past 7 years. We started Saturday AM back in 2013. We started this tournament 5 years ago. It's been a real amazing thing to see people have embraced what we stand for. And round 4 is tough because we are down to our final 8. We had someone drop out because there was a lot of stuff going on, obviously, with COVID-19 and everything. And this is a grueling tournament, folks. You have to be a brand new piece of artwork every single week. But with that being said, this round was all about alternation toys from Pandemonium, and they had to take that piece of artwork or some of those character designs and then pit them against another toy. So there's some really great artwork here, folks. Of course, we need to call out real quickly that this event is sponsored by Clip Studio Paint, makers of fantastic software for designing your own comic book. You can utilize it on Mac, PC, or even on your tablet like iOS. So it's one of the top software in the world for creating comics. We'll talk more about it shortly with Whyt Manga, as well as Spectrum Noir, makers of really, really quality art markers, alcohol-based art markers. We have been using them for a while. We swear by them, and Jared will be talking a little bit about them a little bit later in today's broadcast. But you guys can find all this information out at www.saturday-am.com/madness. With that said, let's get ready for the theme here. Only 4 artists are coming out of today's tournament, folks. So only 4 artists will be coming out of that. Your votes matter. So you can vote and help us determine who is that artist that you think should emerge into the final round, which is next week. You can make a difference in their vote. Like the entire tournament, you can make a difference in who advances, who doesn't. And of course, it's going to be really hard, but that's where our judges are going to help make a determination on that. The judges' votes cost 15 points. They add 15 points to the artist who is competing. So if all 4 of us vote for someone, that's going to be 60 points. So we're really excited about reviewing these creators. They come from all the different teams throughout the tournament. The teams are based on our most popular series. You can see here, Bully Eater, Apple Black, Clock Striker, Sagami. There they all are. And the question is, who will be the 4? Who will be the finalists from Team Apple Black, Team Bully Eater, Team Clock Striker, Team Sagami? Who will it be? It's going to come down to how well they did with the alternation versus toys theme that we had for round 4. We will begin by simply clicking on the images here so we can bring these up here. Actually, let's see here. There we go. So looks like we're going to have, okay, so we are going to run into a bit of an issue here. So let me see if I can do something real quickly. I thought perhaps I had these scheduled a little bit differently, but it looks like I don't. So I'm going to reset this so that we can review these a bit more appropriately. So bear with me for just a moment, everybody, while I change our screen here. Let's see here. I'm going to stop presenting the screen just for a moment, folks, because I want to make sure that we can get this set up so that you all can see all the amazing artwork that these guys have done. This has been an amazing round with some really, really quality artists, so we don't want to limit what you're seeing on the screen. We'll make sure you guys can see everything the way it's intended. So bear with me for just a moment. While we're doing that, Jay, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about Spectrum Noir markers? What's been your experience with Spectrum Noir markers?
Yeah, sure. Spectrum Noir is absolutely incredible. I got some of their markers a while ago, and I've been using them nonstop. They're just like Copic or Prismacolor markers. They're substantially cheaper as well, so that's definitely a plus if you're looking to get the same high quality art supply, but you don't want to spend an arm and a leg. You can still blend with them very well. You can still they last for a long time. I'm still on like the first couple of sets. There's a few markers that I use a lot, so they're starting to run out of ink, but for the most part they're absolutely incredible, and I totally recommend them. I wouldn't just be saying this, I use them all the time.
I think the biggest thing about those markers that I know that we've talked quite a bit about, at least a lot of our fans recognize, is that these are, in terms of quality, these are comparable to Copics without the cost. So Copics are, I think, an average of $6 to maybe $8. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, one
And
pack
so
of 6 is the same amount as one marker from Copic, or 2 markers from Copic. Sorry, if you get it for $15 for a 6-pack, whereas you can get 2 markers of Copic markers or even Prismacolor markers. They're like $5 or $6 at least, and they just go up from there. So,
Whyt, you obviously are one of our more established and successful artists in different media. So like you can work really astonishingly well in so many different media. The thing about the Spectrum Noir that you've noticed, like, are there nuances that you've noticed that they have versus other competitors to Copic? Obviously the price point's amazing, but in terms of just the durability and the quality, are there things you've noticed that they do particularly well?
I think they are quality wise on the same, so not just price wise, affordability. It's pretty far with Copic markers quality wise. They have a unique look and structure to them where they kind of feel a little nice in your hand, and so far so good. They blend just as well, so they're not, from my experience using them, they are not that different from Copics except for price point and just a few things here and there, maybe with blending and stuff like that, which are really good. But when you use both, they're just subtle differences with, say, maybe you might spend a little more time trying to blend some colors together. But overall, it still works out, especially with Spectrum Noir premium marker pads. I have like the premium marker pad, and I have like their art liner as well. And there are other cool things about the art liner that I really like, not just the Illustrator markers or the Classique markers. Normally we use Sakura inking pens to come up with, at least for me, I use that to put my pages together. And in rare occasions, I use the G pen. I don't use the G pen as much now, but I mostly use the Microns inking pen. But now trying their art liner. Their art liner is really good, especially because it comes with different sizes that I actually end up using. Sometimes with Sakura micro inking pens, there's some sizes that I just never use. With these, I find myself using all of them, especially the fact that they have a really cool brush version in there, which the microns do not have. They are just all strictly microns. So the packet with Spectrum Noir, using that and using their Illustrator markers and the Classique markers, it's been really cool. And versus Copics as well, the color sets that Copics come in obviously are different than they're different color sets. And so the sets that I have with Spectrum Noir, luckily for me, I end up using a whole lot more. A lot of colors that I have with Copics that I don't use as much, and then some that I use too much. It's a mixed bag. It can be a mixed bag sometimes, but luckily I have the colors that I need, and find myself coming back to more so with Spectrum Noir than Copics in some cases.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad to see that then. Okay. So then, all right. So then, well then, with that said, then folks, again, if you get a chance, we holler at me, check out Spectrum Noir. They're a UK-based company. We deal with both sides, the UK and the American branch. Their markers are sold around the world. As Whyt said, the quality is there. Again, folks, we get approached by marker companies all the time, and I can assure you, there's no way in the world that Whyt or Jay or Morgan or any of our creators would let me make a big deal about a marker brand as part of Saturday AM if they did not like the markers. And so it's a testament to Spectrum Noir's quality that so many of our accomplished artists like them. So if you want a chance to check them out, go to their website at www.spectrumnoir.com. With that being said, we are now up and running. We're about to jump into the tournament proper. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's run through these and let's talk real quickly. Now, what you're seeing here, this is an example of the art that you've seen to date. So this is actually some of the artwork that has existed throughout the tournament. We had 64 artists at the very beginning. We're now down to the final 8 minus 1, so it's actually 7. But you can see here, just from just a couple of the rounds, I think we've got something here from every single round of the tournament, including some of our alternates, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But you can see here, really dynamic, amazing artwork, extraordinary creators, really, really solid stuff here. So this is good stuff. And now we're going to talk about the actual artwork on display here. So let's get to the first one, and I'm going to call upon Morgan for the first artwork we're going to review. You ready, Morgan?
Yeah. Which one are we looking at?
We're looking at Artist Alloway.
Okay.
All right. So you guys can see on your screen here. Now, this was an image from Artist Alloway. She has been, you know what? I can't say she. I think it's she, but I'm not sure. But this artist has been really amazing, has some great images throughout the entire tournament. You can follow along the whole tournament, folks, at our website, www.saturday-am.com/madness. But this is obviously some of the characters. We've got the two characters who are friends, which I thought was really interesting, Ryan. And Ryan, obviously, you can hop in here as well. But I thought it was really interesting they have the friends in here. Let's start with Morgan. Let's get Morgan's thoughts on this artwork and this image, and then we'll get your thoughts, Ryan. Again, real briefly, guys, just give us your initial thoughts, and then we'll go to the next one. So, Morgan, what's your take on this image here?
Well, first of all, I mean, I think artistically it looks really good. Shading and coloring is really smooth, and this looks really great. As far as like the narrative and the kind of setup that's going on, I like the matchup of the characters. You got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if I can get that out, with these two characters that are supposed to be really fun, and obviously they're best friends, as you said. So it's a really good matchup to kind of put them in this situation. I think it might have been nice to maybe have a few more of the characters, because it seems like each of them are like interacting with one of the Mutant Ninja Turtles, but then the other two are not really interacting with another counterpart. But that's maybe just a little nitpicky on my part. Yeah, overall, I mean, I think that this was a really fun piece. I liked the story that was going on, and artistically, it looks really good. It's composed really well.
What did you make of this, Ron?
I thought it was great. I love the distinct styling. As Morgan said, I love the color. The I love the line work variation, from backgrounds to foregrounds to like just inner parts of the characters. I thought it was a good idea for a composition with, you know, kind of the two tough guys are together, the two the pranksters are kind of together, and it seems like they brought the kind of fun characters from Alternation into the Ninja Turtles universe. For ideas on improvements, I would watch the tangents. There's one right by the on Michelangelo's left elbow in the pizza box a little bit. I'd keep an eye on that. I'd check the elbow on Albert's right arm a little bit. It seems tucked in a little bit unnaturally, and I feel like it should be out farther away from his body a little bit. Very minor things. And then check the 3D space a little bit out. Raphael and Quilroy's elbows kind of seem like they're right next to each other, almost touching rather than kind of a triangle shape. But I could be mistaken. Like it's kind of cropped right there. So I'm not, without doing a draw over, I'm not like 100% sure on that. Overall, great. I love this. So.
Yeah, I gotta say, what I love about this image more than anything, as we said throughout the entire tournament, you can obviously see things that artists do wrong, and things that artists, as I've said frequently throughout the tournament, to advance in this tournament, what makes this tournament so tough is that it's all about the choices you make. It's all about the choices you make, because every artist is really good and talented, but it's about the choices. What choice did you use? How did you determine you were going to present the scene? What elements did you think were important to focus on? What elements did you not focus on? What tools did you use? What color strategy did you take? You know, all those things. What I love about this piece is the narrative. I love that this artist actually is involved in a narrative. Not only, Ryan, did they read, because I don't know if this person knew the toys ahead of time, maybe they did, but they clearly read. They recognized the relationship between Albert and Quilroy. They then, pitched them with the Turtles, which makes sense. The Turtles are pranksters, you know, a few of them. So that's a natural relationship between these characters, that they would be engaged. They wouldn't necessarily be fighting. Maybe they'd just be kind of laughing and trying to prank each other or play with each other. I love the Whyt actually got how many times the character won. I love the fact they're eating pizza. I think that from a scenario of education and research, and then having a narrative quality to an illustration, I think this piece nailed it every single step of the way, and I'm really, really, really happy with this piece. And plus, I also think the color work is very sublime here. I think it feels kind of like an animation cell, not a super detail, but does feel kind of animation. So I like this piece a great deal. So hats off to artist Alloway. All right, next up, Whyt, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready, Whyt?
Yeah.
All right. Call Me NACA. This is a young artist from Hungary, one of our fellow artists, Andrea's home country, and obviously this is a big one here. This is two very cool characters going at it here. Do you want to comment on this, or you want to go first on this?
Yeah, this looks really cool and really dynamic. You have like these items, mostly drawing items, kind of leaping at you. You can see a lot of detail was put into the scenery and just the vibe of the whole setting. A lot went into the backgrounds, a lot went into the characters. I'm guessing that's what's it? What they call again? I don't know why it's skipping my mind. Oh, Megatron. No, that's Optimus Prime. I believe Megatron's the bad guy. So that's Optimus Prime. So Transformers. Yeah, that's what it is. And so they're battling here, I'm assuming. And I just like how it was put together. I like the warm lights in the cool, dark environment. So I like how the characters are being lit. A lot of stuff went into it. This, especially putting characters as intricate as this to do it in such a short time. I really commend the artists for putting this together. Down to the wire, all the artists are kind of bringing their A game. So I like what's going on in the background as well. It's very subtle, but it's still there. It's like a table of an artist here, and these are like the boys battling on the table. And I think it looks good. Thumbs up from me to Call Me NACA.
Ryan, what do you make of this piece?
I think everything is great on this. Very difficult to find anything wrong with it. It's a great use of foreshortening with the different body parts. You can see the shield is much larger and sort of like arms on Dart. The back one is smaller than the foreground one. So it's all like it's a great use of perspective. You can see that all around. Great use of line of action, where Optimus Prime is in a defensive pose, kind of lean back, and same with Dart is kind of he's got his back going one way and his arms going another. It's a great use of line of action overall. Great coloring. There's clear light source. There's the use of shadows and light everywhere is phenomenal. What else can I say? It's a great unique styling too. The artist is making a lot of inorganic shapes, kind of look like they're made out of bent rubber. So that, I don't know what those are called, but that sort of triangle ruler in the foreground is you can see there's a little distortion to it, as if its propulsion is bending the thing. And same with Optimus Prime. Like, we know he's a robot and that he's in this thing presumably a toy maybe, but he's still bent kind of like rubber. He's not just a solid rectangle. And same with the Nerf darts. Some of them are distorted a little bit. So I like all that.
Yeah, Me NACA has been a force the entire tournament. Super talented. Clearly, I said this a long time ago at the beginning of the tournament, that what we see frequently what we see frequently in these tournaments is that the artists who can do anything, like whatever you give him as a task, or her, those artists were going to ultimately contend for winning the tournament, because at that point it's just about choices with them, because they can really do anything, and Me NACA certainly is in that realm. I mean, we'll see if he makes it to the final round, but he certainly at least so far has proven to be adept at doing anything. I think what's so fascinating with this piece, to your point, Ryan, everything Whyt said I agree with completely, but I think in your piece, Ryan, first of all, I do think these are toys. I think he's taking the literal idea of toy versus toy, not toy character versus toy character as a concept, but just literally, this is a toy, that's a toy. They're fighting each other on a table. But the detail, I mean, there's just no question. The detail is just extraordinary. I mean, it's completely, just eye-popping. He's got a muted color sense, because you assume it's on a desk with a small lamp or light coming from a windowsill maybe. I love the cup with the scissor stuff in it. He's got the alternation logo on there, which is perfectly affixed to the cup. This is just a solid piece. It's a beautiful rendition of Optimus Prime, fantastic rendition of Dart. Just a great piece. Really love this piece. Okay, all right. Next artist. We'll be going to you, Mr. J. Oden. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, we have Mr. FX Art. If I'm not mistaken, and FX Art, please don't tell me if I get this wrong. I believe he's from Eastern Europe, Serbian, I think. But I could be wrong. We can find out. But this is, I'm actually not sure. Dart again. I'm not sure who he's going up against. Another Transformer.
It looks like
you first.
I'm sorry. Say it.
It looks like Lego Ninjago or something like that.
Oh, okay. Clearly, I'm not.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, well, then you two probably know better than me. Jay, you go ahead then and give your thoughts, and then we'll go to Mr. Magnan and get his thoughts.
Okay. I really like this image. This was actually one of my favorites. It looks like the way it's colored. Like, I mean, I'm not sure if it's I assume this is digital, but the way it's colored makes it look traditional, like it's been painted, and I really like that effect. I really like just the action on here, the lighting, the way the mecha looks in the background. Like, that's really cool. So overall, this image is just like really, really fun to me. I like this one a lot.
Cool. Ryan, what do you make of this?
I think the coloring, as he said, is great. The Gundam construction on the Lego is great. I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more out of the anatomy of Dart a little bit, just as far as where placement is on body parts. Line of action on him is good. He's hunched over and he's got the foot bending back a little bit. So that's a plus for me. And yeah, I think that would be my feedback.
Well, this piece, when I saw it, again, we see so many different pieces, and I'm an old man. I can't speak for Ryan. I'm old. I'm 46. So I always pull, obviously, from my memory of just various pieces of art. I've been a nerd my whole life, so I remember all these different things. And the first thing I thought when I saw this image, this, by the way, is FS Art has a very distinctive style, but this was different even on this image. It reminds me of really like that kind of pulpy book covers or magazine covers, like from Spooky or Creepy magazine in the 70s. This had a very the color kind of had this very painted aesthetic to it that kind of captures this sort of like high fantasy sort of thing, as for the sort of stuff I grew up with. And so it really appealed to me on that level. The angle is weird. That I will agree with. I think the angle's a tad weird because I'm not quite sure. I don't know what that thing is that Dart's fighting. That's on me. I'm just clearly not quite up on all the different toys that are out there today. But I do like just the vibe of the cover. I love the sort of painted look of it. I love the sheen that comes off of Dart's skin. The kind of light just hitting his blue skin, which makes me again wonder what this creature is and where they're at. But just so much of this piece just harkens to an era for me of just kind of like high fantasy and kind of like really really pulpy science fiction, and it's cool to me. I think it's a really cool piece. My knock is the angle. I wish the angle were a bit more straightforward, but for the most part, so I can understand exactly what I'm looking at on the other character. But it does feel very fun and it feels very distinctive, and Dart for the most part to me represents well with the character that I've seen. Obviously, I'm not Ryan, so I can't speak to the accuracy of it, but there is some proper nuance to the character that looks like that he really did their homework. So I like this piece. I think it's a cool piece. It's distinctive for sure. So okay, next up we go to we're gonna stay, I think, with Jay. We'll stay with Jay on this one. Is he ready, Jay?
Yep, let's do it.
Murakami art. Jay, I feel like you should be commenting on Turtles. I feel like in our little group, you are like the Michelangelo of the Saturday AM people.
I am? Is that what you're saying?
I do.
Oh, all right, cool.
Like
well, I mean, he was always one of my favorites, so I'm down with that. Do you want me to just jump right in, or do you want to say something else, or?
Please, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I really like this image as well. The action, I think it probably could have been pushed a little bit more, but I like the speed lines with the swords. I like his hands coming towards Michelangelo, as well as also like him leaping and stuff. Like all of the speed lines coming off of the figures, I like that a lot. I like the fact that they're underwater as well, which is really cool. If I had to say anything that I didn't like is just, I guess the angle. It's just spot on as opposed to making it a little more dynamic. All the other pictures we've seen have been from a different angle, and I don't know. I think it just probably would look a little bit better if that were the case. But I really like the colors. I like the filter as well. Sorry if I'm echoing. I really like the filters as well. Yeah, I mean, the anatomy looks pretty spot on. I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with it. I think maybe Michelangelo's leg that's bending looks a little bit too short, but I mean, that could also just be, the foreshortening that he was trying to do, so, but yeah, other than that, I like this image. It's pretty cool.
Okay. All right. So, Ryan, what about you, sir?
I'd like to see a little more for, first of all, the color's really great. I think that's interesting, that underwater kind of look and that and kind of some of the textures I see in the skin and things like that is really neat. I'd like to see more attention to foreshortening, so that personally, this may just be a subjective preference, but something like Leonardo's right arm, maybe getting smaller in the back, and the left arm holding the sword, that sword would probably be pretty close to the camera. So I would see it kind of getting bigger towards the tip. So yeah, that would be my feedback on that. Overall, good stuff.
Yeah, I think so. For me, so I like this piece. Like I said, I think all these pieces are fun. This piece to me is more fun than being one of my favorite pieces. So I mean, it's definitely fun. I just love Leonardo flashing his swords. When you start to think about it, obviously, it's where it gets a tad off. I do like the fact that Dart is bigger physically than Leonardo. It represents what you describe as being part of the character's aspect, plus the fact they're in water. That makes sense for the two characters that are amphibians. That said, yeah, I think the issue with the leg for Leonardo did take me out of it too. Also, the fact that the water is generated more by color than by actual drawing to create an effect of water, which of course is a challenge, but it's necessary in some cases, because then you end up with things that just don't make a lot of sense to me. Obviously, this water thing just makes it take sense to me because we don't get a sense of actual water. It's more so just being illustrated by the color and the effects. For example, there are speed lines going through with Dart, and I just don't. That's not how that should come across in water. With the kind of like the I mean, it kind of almost looks like fur on his feet and so forth. So I'm not, that could have been. I would have rather that have been been illustrated by color than by actual pencil. There are ways to demonstrate water through pencil, but that doesn't work for me. The speed lines coming from the legs, it feels like it's fur. And then conversely, like I think the swords reflect that well. Just allowing the more of the color and the effects to give you the blur for speed. But yeah, there's some aspects there where the characters kind of feel disjointed from one another. The upper body of Leonardo, fantastic. I think much of Dart is pretty good as well, but there are other pieces that just don't quite line up. Nonetheless, this piece is fun. It's probably one of the most fun pieces outside of Artist Alleyway that's in today's tournament. So hats off to Harakami, who hails from Germany and has had some great pieces throughout the tournament. So hats off to him for turning in a great piece as well. Next up, we're going to go to Whyt Manga. You ready, Whyt?
Yeah, I'm game.
We have Camo 988 from France, and Camo, of course, has had some great stuff throughout the tournament. So, what do you make of this piece?
This looks really good. I believe this whole shot. I'm not too sure. Is that Barbie? That's Barbie. I'm guessing that's Barbie. And
I don't know. I don't know. Does anybody else know?
I'm guessing that.
Yeah, I would say it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like,
Yeah, we're just gonna go with Barbie, and I believe this whole shot here is referencing, or at least he used reference, or at least thought of this. If he didn't use reference, is a shot from a panel in One Punch Man, and so we have this Barbie that's really, really showing a lot of power, beating the crap out of the other character. Really powerful punch. You show a lot of impact. My only thing is maybe I'll take just because I'm taking a couple points off, just because it's very similar to that One Punch Man panel and shot. But obviously there are a lot of other things that make this different. And I think maybe the character, the illustrator could have taken a little more time. Maybe some things maybe could have been rendered a little further, like Barbie kind of feels a little flat. But you can still get that vibe of pressure and get a good sense of what's going on. Claire, what's happening here. She could have been rendered a little further, but overall, I think it's still okay. It came off a little, I think the illustration came off, was submitted a little late, so maybe some points be taken off of that. But overall, it's still a strong illustration. Could be better. Keep it up, Camo.
Okay, Ryan, what do you make of this piece, sir?
I think the line work is great. I like the variation in in the line work. There's some that are lighter, there's some that are thicker, there's some that are thinner, and that's really great. Color's good as far as the color choices. I think to the point, I'm sorry, I don't know who was previously talking, but about the flatness. I wondered if maybe some foreshortening, maybe some shading to the rendering might have alleviated some of that. It's not a huge deal breaker for me though, because the coloring's good. I would like to see a little that one punch she's doing is, I don't know, it feels a little unnatural. Maybe it's because maybe we're not seeing the elbow or the forearm at all, or maybe that fist needs to be bigger since it's kind of almost the same size as a bicep, and presumably it's closer to the viewer than the bicep is. So, you know, the elbow would be kind of going backward in 3D space and getting smaller, and then the hand would be coming forward and getting bigger. Those would be my tips for improvement. But the biggest thing I'm a fan of is the use of color. They got a lot of variations of yellow and blue in there that are a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love this piece. I think Camo, for me, has been one of the funnest artists in the tournament. I mean, their first illustration was Dragon Ball. It was a really clean Dragon Ball shot. And the second one was the mythology character from Journey into the West. It was a very somber, pensive piece with the character sitting at this monkey god sitting at a bus station checking the phone. It was a lot of just visual nuance in that piece. I thought was really cool. And then they did a great piece with Clock Striker last week, fighting Boruto. Look, I think this artist is talented. I like this piece, I think, versus Whyt and Ryan a little bit more because of some of the things that they, I think, rightfully point out. But just for me personally as an artist, I've always been a fan of artists like Kevin McGuire, who used to do Justice League International, and I like simple line work. I think it was Paul Smith who did some of the X-Men stuff in the 80s that he took over from Dave Cockrum and John Byrne. I just like that real simple line work. It's always, if you heard me throughout the tournament, I've always talked about how I love simple line work. I like less is more, especially if you can get it right in terms of the cinematography and the imagery and so forth. I don't know the image Whyt's referring to with One Punch Man, although I know what he's talking about because that image has been done a lot. So if you know the visual language of manga, you've seen that image where the character is completely solitary, the other character's reacting, and there's like a bit of speed line activity happening around one of the arms, you know, to demonstrate that they kick so quickly or punch so fast, you never even saw it. But the other character is reacting like wildly. So I love to Ryan's point, I do love the color. It's subtle, but it's you know, relatively flat. But again, it captures it so well. Like there's not a need to have to put more stuff in there. Shading would have worked, obviously, but it doesn't bother me. I think it's a great piece. Obviously, Camo got to work in late, so he will be docked points for that. But you know, we'll see. It just depends on if people like it or not. So personally, I like it. I love the color. I love the image. I love the simplicity of line work. I like it not being overly complicated. I really like this piece. All right, our final image we're going to review before we vote. We're going to turn to the always nice Morgan Walker. You ready, Morgan?
Yeah.
Sorry, don't we have two more images?
Yeah.
Oh, there's two more. My bad. Two more. All right. We'll get this one. Morgan, this is Mono Azumi. You ready for this one?
Yep.
Okay. So go ahead, Morgan.
Yeah, no, again, I think Mono Azumi did a great job with the coloring style that he uses. I'm not really sure her gender. Again, the backgrounds, I've always really been impressed with the backgrounds that has kind of like an edited photorealistic quality to it. And I like the setting that they're in. It's really, you know, this really well lit space where we're seeing all this action. As far as the action going on, I think it's a little bit confusing with, like, I understand what's happening is that we've got Albert here in front from Alternation throwing a pie in Raphael's face. But I think maybe it could have been done from a different angle. I think it's dynamic having Albert lunging toward the screen, but it's kind of weird seeing like the back of Raphael and this thing flying in his face. You can only really tell what's happening with the effect lines, and I don't know if maybe it could have been done more effectively than that. And some of the proportions are kind of weird. That's kind of Mono's style, I understand, but sometimes it kind of takes you out a little bit when they've got these kind of real curved limbs. moving around. I do like having Albert versus Raphael, and then you've got Mikey in the back with Quilroy eating pizza together, and then even at the top there's like a little cameo of the main villain, you know, hiding out on the rooftop up there that I really like. So overall, I think it's really well rendered. There's a couple things here and there, particularly the action that probably could have been improved, but otherwise it's another really strong piece for Mano.
Okay, Ryan, what about you, sir?
I gotta agree with everything she said. The coloring is great, textures are great. I love the use of mixed mediums. It kind of looks almost like a 3D rendering in the background, but then you have the traditional cell animation style on the characters. So that's a lot of fun. I'm always a fan of that. Things like Amazing World of Gumball and things like that. I think Raphael, I don't know if this is the artist's style, but Raphael feels a little disjointed from the background. I'm wondering if maybe scaling him down would make more sense in 3D space, but to, I believe it was Morgan's point that if this is their style, like, more power to you. It's interesting that there's some things that are foreshortened and some that aren't, and some that are kind of, I don't know how to say other than it's interesting. I like seeing new stuff, so I wouldn't mark down for that or anything. So it's fun. I agree that the action was a bit confusing too at the beginning. I thought perhaps Albert was punching at first, and then I realized, oh, he's maybe supposed to be coming around Raphael after having splatted him in the face with the pie. So that was I would totally agree that it was a bit confusing on the line of action that could be improved with a little bit of tweaking here and there.
Yeah, so look, this reminds me kind of the artist alleyway piece. Again, I can nitpick this, and I will be, because there's some things that I wish they had done differently. On the other hand, again, what makes this tournament so unique is that, folks, for those of you who are watching this, the artists who are participating find out if they won or lost Monday morning. Same thing will happen tomorrow. They'll find out sometime Monday morning or early afternoon if they won or lost. So they'll find out if they're in the next round, and then they'll find out what the next round illustration theme is, and they'll then have to produce the artwork. They have to turn it in by Thursday. So it's a really, really difficult place to be. It's not easy. It's definitely tough, and so again, it comes down to choices. What is so interesting to me with this piece with Mano Azumi is first of all, to Ryan's point, I love the mixed media use. That, you know, obviously that background's amazing, and that I hope that this was, you know, a background that they created. But I love this background because again, it's just giving us more. I mean, it's probably the only background, I think, full background in any of the images we're going to see, except for a few where the action is so close up that even though there's background presented, it's not nearly as detailed. But I couldn't agree more. It's a little confusing. It took me several times to realize what was happening. I knew that that Albert was doing something, and he's the star of the piece. That said, the things that took me out of it, the things I wish they had done is, first of all, when you're gonna mix media like this, I would love for you to just see it all the way through. So I don't need to have physical lines with his hand saying he threw the pie. I'd rather just have it be just a blur. Yes, he should have been moved over a bit more, or Raphael should have been maybe positioned a little bit differently so that we could get a real good sense of the pie in the face. But the way it looks right now, it's kind of weird the way that he's structured, the way it's hard to imagine that he did that, the way their bodies line up. And so that kind of took me out of it a little bit. I had to look at it several times. Also, I hate that splat. That splat is such a, and those who work for Saturday AM, particularly in our design department, know how much I love fonts and how particular I am about fonts. And it's like when you've got an image that has so much style to it and has so much narrative structure to it, then go all out. Go, give us a really interesting font that also sells what happened. Because again, I didn't know what happened. The picture is so confused with how close the action is. I didn't know what happened. Having something that was really definitive, like a kablam, sort of big fat, or having something that was more splishy, like a kind of like a creepypasta font or something like that, would have been great. And it would have just allowed you to sell the narrative of what's happening more artistically. You could have seen it all the way through. So there are choices here that I wish would have been a little different. I do still want to commend Mano Azumi because they're doing a lot and they had a limited time, of course. And so the fact that they even pulled it off to the degree that they did is a testament to how skilled they are as an artist. We saw a similar camera angle in a couple of their previous pieces from Mano Azumi, particularly the Clock Striker piece, and then the piece before that with I think what anime character, I forget. I think it was a gender bend of Roy Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist. And we saw in both cases Mano Azumi really likes to play with the camera and get like a really cinematic look. Hats off to Mano Azumi for that. This person is going to be a star if they can continue to refine that technique and also really depict really good action, but make it clear. But having different cinematic angles that's high quality indeed, strong quality indeed. All right, so this is the last image here. I'm going to go back to Whyt on this one. My apologies to Okanotes. I thought I had seen all of them, but that was just my old eyes. Are you there, Whyt?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, you got one more in you. We're gonna do one last one, and then we'll do our vote after we talk about Clip Studio Paint. So you ready?
Yeah. I think that this is clearly, Toy Story versus alternation, and I really like the background and the angle with the camera shot. They're basically again in toy form, where you have like toy versions going at each other, and it's under some kind of some kind of maybe bigger toy or couch. I don't know. I can't really tell, but the way the illustration is colored, the lighting from Buzz, and just the warmth from the background, and like them under the shade, it's really cool. I do think certain aspects of the shading, you can argue that it's stylistic. I don't know if the style is working for me, but I do think that overall it looks really good. You can see that the Okanotes really went all out. Again, I think everybody's realizing, when it's coming down to the wire, even in such little time, they're pulling out all the stops. You can see like the Legos and all the characters pretty rendered pretty faithfully. And so because
Okay, Ryan, what about you, sir?
Yeah, I love everything about this. It's just the same as I said about Call Me NACA. This is another one of my favorite. It's hard to find anything wrong with it. The color is great. I love the use of perspective. There's multiple light sources you can see. And the imagination behind it seems like these are toys that like got stuck under the bed or something, or like a couch. And yeah, it works really well for the idea behind the theme of like toys battling each other. So these guys are probably like not being seen by humans. They're under a couch or something, and then you can see there's little Legos and stuff and just random stuff in there. Getting back to the light sources, it's great. They took into account Buzz's laser beam, plus the light in the background, plus there's a third point over hitting Sham and Albert a little bit on the lower left corner. So those are all great. I don't know if the artist does this regularly. I'm not familiar with their other work, but we use a lot of shapes rather than line work in a lot of our marketing for alternation. So that worked really well for me because we always harken back to that like Cold War spy kind of espionage story with this line, kind of bringing that back. That hasn't been done in a while in kids properties. So it's neat that this style of coloring and using shapes instead of lines works really well for me. I think those are all my notes.
Yeah, so I love this piece. Okay, so first of all, let me just say this again for those of you who follow Saturday and follow March Art Madness. What I'm about to say, I'm not going to say fully because it would be blasphemous with the history of March Art Madness. Okanotes has had a trajectory in this tournament that reminds me of Bailey Boutel. Those of you who know Bailey Boutel, he was one of our superstars. He's our biggest success story from March Art Madness. He appeared in 2017, and he just got better and better every round. Like his work, just like the first image was this Batman image, which was cool. It had a perspective shot like Mano Azumi, but it wasn't anything to write home about. It was really neat from someone who's just one of the artists. He's from Australia, by the way. And then the next week, because he survived that first round. The next week he did this Hunter piece, which is lights out amazing. And then he just got more and more extraordinary. And then he kind of slacked off. I think he got his work in late, and he got beaten in the final round by a really talented Swedish guy named William Peterson. So he came back a year later. You could tell that it had stayed with him that he lost in that final round. And he absolutely, I don't think we've had anybody who has won as vociferously, I guess, as he did. Like, he just owned the tournament from the first round all the way through the fifth round in 2018. And he won it handily. I mean, they got the most votes, everything. Okanotes, if you look at his very first image and you looked at where he's at now, definitely grown. I mean, like, not even close. Like, his first image compared to where he is in this image are night and day. That's a hats off to him. That's a recognition of how tough this tournament is, as Whyt said. The fact you got to start applying your A game if you really want to have a chance to win. For those of you folks, by the way, who don't know, we give away an iPad. We give away $650 worth of markers. We give away software to Clip Studio Paint and more. So, yeah, you probably want to put a lot of effort into this tournament. That's why it's some of the best artists out there. That's why it gets really hard towards the end. But this piece is amazing. This piece is fantastic. The coloring, the fact that it takes place under a couch or a bed, the lighting aspects to it, the uses of the characters. And by the way, I think this is the most characters from Alternation that appeared in a singular piece for this round. I mean, everyone either did like 2 characters or maybe 3 characters, but these guys have got all 4 characters from Alternation in this piece alongside of 2 of the characters from Toy Story. I just think great piece. Every part about this is really solid. It also, again, reminds me, as I said previously about FS art, this reminds me of like a cover to like a book that I would have read back in the day. So really solid piece here. Okay,
I got one more comment on it, if it's okay.
Please go ahead.
I wanted to also compliment the artist on just the line of action and the action in general is really good. Like, he nailed it on all of them, but Albert in particular, just winding up and then Dart with the tongue coming out, like, you don't even need motion lines or blurs or anything like that. You can feel the motion and just the posing of it. So I did really want to compliment on that, and that's why I wanted you to come back to me so I could be sure to mention that.
No, I'm glad you said that because I not only do I agree with you. I mean, where I would say I thought the character image is so strong. That L Ray, like that's out of like take any Aquaman or like any Marvel comic, sort of like really cool character, like defying stuff, like get ready to get forged in a battle. Such a strong, like every part of that piece is so good. So I couldn't agree more. This is a great piece. All right, folks. So that's all 7 images. So we're going to take just a few minute break here. We're going to be wrapping up literally in 10 minutes, but we're going to take a few minutes break. Once you guys look at the screen, we're going to coordinate our votes. And when we come back, we will vote and give you our thoughts as to who we think should advance. Remember, the votes that we provide from the judges today are 15 points per judge. So 60 points will be awarded to various creators throughout the tournament, up to 60 points for this round. And so that means it's going to have a tremendous opportunity here for someone to really cement their opportunities to get into the final round next week. And then we'll talk also about the final round and some of the great things coming with it. While that's happening, so Ryan, please, if you can just make a quick list to yourself so we can just immediately get to it. Same with Morgan, Whyt, and Jay as to who you guys are voting for. Remember, 4 artists come out of this. So there's 7 artists, 4 artists come out of this, and we'll go to the final round for next week. While that's happening, folks, I want to take a moment and tell you guys about a couple of things here. So I'm actually going to, give me a second, I'm actually going to pull up the stuff I want to show you guys and tell you about while we are talking. So first things first, folks, we do have a alternate tournament It consists of artists, again, from around the world. We have artists from Bahrain and from, I believe, Nigeria and a few other places. It's the first time we've done an alternate tournament, so we're really excited at the possibilities of this. This is round 2. And so you guys will be able to find some of these artists and issue number 2, which will be coming out later today. So if you have the Saturday AM Global Comics app for iOS or for Android, please make sure you check it later today. You will find the artwork exclusively for round 2 of our alternate tournament. Amazing artists in there, some amazing artwork this time. In fact, I can show you real quickly 1 or 2 of the images that was done. These are all anime focused, folks. So if you see artwork here, it's going to be based on anime. So we have, I think, horror was a theme, sports was a theme. You can see here Yawamushi Pedal from Jello Studios. And likewise, you can see here, I believe this is Gangsta by 3THN. And there are up to a dozen, I believe a total of a dozen images you guys can actually vote through, or maybe more. But there's some great images in there, folks. We hope you guys will go check it out. Again, it will be in Fanart Friday issue number 2, which will debut in our app, Saturday AM/Global Comics for iOS and for Android later today. Of course, folks, if you subscribe to our app, you get access to a ton of our material. Saturday AM always has the latest 3 issues for free. We also have Saturday PM magazine, the complete run, and we have Saturday AM library content, meaning issues, I believe right now starting from issue like 62 or 61, all the way up to issue 117. Now, those issues are not all free. Only issues 115, 16, 17, 115, 115, 116, 117 on Saturday AM are free. All the other content, Saturday PM, the library content, and other stuff, you have to pay for either as a subscriber or the library content, or we even have a store section where you can purchase some of these things. So please make sure you check out our app. Fan Art Friday is our magazine dedicated to fan art culture. We profile top creators or top up-and-coming creators. We have regular art contests and so forth. In fact, the alternates contest, the winner of that will receive $50, 50 US dollars via PayPal. So really excited about that. Again, the big tournament, this March Art Madness tournament, the winner is going to receive an Apple iPad plus Apple Pencil. They're going to receive $650 worth of art supplies from Spectrum Noir, particularly in the Classique marker. They're going to receive a special software package from Clip Studio Paint. All participants will receive a free subscription for a year to Saturday AM, our digital app, which of course is valued at $36 a year. And there'll be some other great tools in there as well. Last thing I want to say, folks, is that if you have participated in the previous rounds of this year's tournament, the 2020 March Art Madness, please know that even though you may not have made it to the next round, we have already spoken to not only Pandemonium Toys, who is here, and who will also be providing a full set of figurines to the winner, the grand prize winner next week, but we're going to be selecting winners from Clip Studio Paint, from Pandemonium Toys, from Spectrum Noir. We're going to be selecting some of the best illustrations from each previous round to receive a free product. In the case of Clip Studio Paint, it'll be a free copy of their software, basic edition, and for Spectrum Noir will be a free pack of markers. So we'll be announcing all of those next week. So you'll have every reason to tune in next week for the finale of the show, as well as the ultimate winner and those people who participated receiving some prizes for their efforts along the way of the tournament, regardless of whether or not they made it to the final round. One other thing about next week that's going to be super special, folks, is that the grand prize winner, there's one other prize they're going to have, and that is Jabberwocky Toys, who is the maker of our upcoming Saturday AM collectibles, which we reveal at Toy Fair. We'll show you some of those here in a minute. They are going to be doing something very special on behalf of the grand prize winner. We're going to talk about that at the end of today's broadcast, so we'll take a few minutes at the end to talk about that. But Fan Art Friday, our magazine themed around fan art culture, issue number 2 comes out later today. In it, you will find the full gallery for round 3, featuring Saturday AM characters, and the full round of artwork for alternate round 2 for March Art Madness, exclusively. You won't see this anywhere else but Fanart Friday issue number 2. We also have a big profile on Black anime. So those of you who struggle with the concept of diversity will really love this. It's going to be all about people taking characters who exist already and doing different race bending pieces, redoing race components of them. So this is Goku if he were African American. Jay's got a great tutorial in there. We've got a great interview with Pandemonium Toys. And so tons of great content, completely free if you have our app, Saturday AM-Global Comics. Last thing I want to say before we get back into the tournament and the votes is, did you all make our Graphicsly Clip Studio Paint Saturday AM webinar? We featured Whyt Manga in about an hour coverage of him talking about doing really cool battle poses. It was a fantastic event, very well attended. We want to thank all of you who attended. But if you didn't attend, I believe you can catch the video up on Graphicsly's webpage. Whyt, real quickly, you want to say a few words about how fun the event was? Anything that you appreciated about it or liked about it?
Yeah, it was great. It was. I believe it's my first webinar too, so that was cool. A lot of people showed up. In fact, they were raving about how the fans supported our efforts here, almost breaking records with the amount of people who showed up live. So I'd like to thank everybody who showed up for that. The show, the review, the webinar itself, rather, went great. Talking about drawing manga poses, and we did it in Clip Studio Paint, so that was fun to do. It was fun to also answer questions at the end. So go to the video. You can just search Graphicsly Whyt Manga webinar, and you'll find the video, and you guys can watch a little over an hour on there, and it was fun. Thanks to Saturday AM, thanks to Clip Studio Paint, Wacom, and Graphicsly.
So folks, please check that out. We're so happy that Whyt agreed to do it, and we're so, of course, happy you all supported him and all the partners involved with that. Because the event was successful, we expect we will do more of these, and therefore you'll probably see more of our talented artists like Jay Oden, possibly Morgan Walker, possibly Ferris Kayed, and others. So please check it out if you haven't seen it. I think you'll really like it. And of course, always check out some of our partners that we work with. Actually, Whyt, real quickly, tell them about Clip Studio Paint as well. Can you talk about Clip Studio Paint real quickly?
Oh yeah, a lot of people. In fact, I use that in my latest video on the channel. Clip Studio Paint is what I use for creating my manga pages, cleaning it up, putting some tone, adding in text, and just finalizing it overall and putting it together. I do that for Apple Black, published in Saturday and BACASSI. That's in Saturday PM. I believe the links to everything you could possibly need will be in the link below. So I hope you guys do the usual, liking the video, all that good stuff to help the video out and with an engagement. And yeah, Clip Studio Paint, I've been using it for a long time. I think you can do a lot of cool stuff on there. You save a lot of money versus doing it traditionally, especially doing it with tone, where a lot of the supplies are gotten overseas or just expensive, where you have to pay for shipping. The typical stuff where traditional art, you're paying for supplies that finish. But with Clip Studio Paint, once you have it, you have it. It's not even like a Photoshop type thing where your case is where it's a subscription. No, this is, you got it. It's affordable, unlike other software like a Photoshop. And I think it's really great for creation, especially if you want to go down that manga aesthetic. But you can do much more with it. You can do illustration, you can do animation. I'm slowly working on a tiny animation, nothing too crazy, that I will share on the YouTube channel here as well. I don't know who that is, but you might want to meet me. Doing a tiny animation that will be shared, and I'll going a little bit on how I put it together. And that'll be on the channel as well, a little animation to sprinkle in there. So we're gonna have fun with that. So you can do animations, illustrations, all the brushes that you have on there. You can rival anything. So yeah, illustrations, animation going on.
Excellent. All right. Well then, folks, I think we're ready. Now. Whyt, it was probably me, by the way. I'm trying to pull up the last thing we want to talk about later today. So bear with me for just a moment while I pull this up, and then we'll get started here. Great. Let's see.
Yeah, I'll do like a brief, while you're putting that together, I'll do like a brief animation tutorial. Not, I wouldn't say a full-on animation. It wouldn't be like a full-on tutorial because that takes a lot of time to construct. But in the future, I will do that. But this would just be showing you guys the capabilities of Clip Studio Paint without actually doing the tutorial, at least not yet. And even using other software for compositing to really show you guys how anime is made the way I've shown you how manga, at least the way I do it, is made on the channel. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. And so hit subscribe. Also subscribe to the Saturday AM, my sister channel, the Saturday AM YouTube channel, where more stuff will be posted, and you get to meet a lot of the other artists in the coming days as well. So please go subscribe to both channels.
Excellent. Okay, guys. All right. Well, now we're going to do our vote. So if you guys are ready, it's about time that we get started. So let's get started here, and so we can wrap everything up. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for your patience and for your support. This is it, folks. Who are the 4 people who are going to make it, at least per our votes? So I'm going to pull up the image. I'm then going to call on each judge, ask them yes or no. And the lovely Jackie's going to record all this information so that we then can have that as part of our consideration once we get all the fan votes in, which, folks, again, you can vote yourself, and that makes a huge determination as to who advances or not. So go to our website, www.saturday-am.com/madness. All right. First up, we have.
I have a question.
Yep.
Is it? Are we just picking 4, or are we any? You could pick all 7 if you want.
You can't pick all 7. So we're going to reveal. We're going to go to each entry. You got to say yes or no.
I understand that. Okay. Well, should we limit it to 4, or is there no limit?
So you got to choose it. You got to choose 4 images.
Okay, got it.
An artist that will advance.
Cool.
All right, let's begin. Oak and Oats. Start with you, Morgan. Yes or no?
No.
Whyt. Yes or no?
Yes.
Jay. Yes or no?
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. Now, yes for me as well. Okay. All right. Next up. We have Mano Azumi. Jay, yes or no?
No.
Whyt, yes or no?
No.
Ryan, yes or no?
I say yes.
Morgan, yes or no?
Yes.
And that's a no for me. Next, we have Camo 988. Jay, yes or no?
No.
Whyt, yes or no?
No.
Ryan, yes or no?
Gonna give that one a no.
Morgan, yes or no?
No.
That's a yes for me. Next, we have Harakumi Art. Wait for it to load up. Okay. Jay, yes or no?
No.
Whyt, yes or no?
Sadly, again, everybody brought in their A game, but just to edge it out, no.
Whyt, give the explanation. Ryan, yes or no?
Gonna have to give it a no.
I'm going to give it a no as well. And Morgan, yes or no?
No.
Okay. Next up. We have FS Art. Jay, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Whyt, yes or no?
Yes.
Ryan, yes or no?
Gonna have to give it a no.
Morgan, yes or no?
Yes.
And I am going to give it a yes. Next up, we have Call Me NACA. Jay, yes or no?
Yes.
Whyt, yes or no?
Yes.
Ryan, yes or no?
Yes.
Morgan, yes or no?
Yes.
It's a yes for me as well. So I've got my 4, therefore I won't be voting anymore. And lastly, we have Artist Alleyway. Jay, yes or no?
Yes.
Whyt, yes or no?
Yes.
Ryan, yes or no?
Yes.
Morgan, yes or no?
Yes.
All right. So there we have it, folks. So again, where do we land on this? Have we determined everyone who could possibly be a part of this thing? The answer, of course, is no, because you get to make the final determination by making your votes happen. So all you have to do is go to our webpage. I'm going to pull the webpage back up here in a minute. And then, of course, you will go there and you will vote yourself. You can do it any time of day. Do understand that we've been doing it all weekend. So the final vote will happen. Do we not do Okanotes? I thought we did do Okanotes. Did we not do Okanotes?
Yeah, we did. It was the first one we looked at.
The first one. Okay. All right, sorry. It's okay, so a little confusion, but we got that. We got all 4 votes in. So, all right. With that being said, then let me see if I pull the website back here, and I want to give you guys a very special notice as to one of the things that we're going to be doing, which is really exciting, and I'm really pumped for it. Give me a second. Let me get it pulled up here, because of course that's half the battle. Let's see if we can get that going there. Okay, so. There we go. All right. So I'm sure you guys can now see the screen. So folks, again, just real quickly, I want to show you guys, if you go to our website, of course, it's www.saturday-am.com/madness. If you scroll down here, of course, you'll see all this great artwork. You'll see all of our amazing supporters, Classique, by Spectrum Noir, Clip Studio Paint. And then you get this big button right here. It says vote. Just click it. It takes you to the screen to vote. It's really easy. There's a couple extra questions in there that help us learn about some things that will be interesting for us in terms of things that we can do to improve our relationship with you and make sure you're getting the right sort of content that you want to see. So please make sure you fill the survey out completely. Do not, by the way, folks, do anything. Don't put crazy things in there and so forth, because we do discount a lot of votes that are from people who are just being trolls and such. We don't get too many of those, but every now and then we get a young person who thinks that somehow we've not seen silly behavior. So don't do that. And we, of course, will take the votes into consideration. Those votes all count as 1 point. So the more people who come out to vote for somebody, you can sway the votes that you just heard today from the 4 of us. Now, folks, next week, this company here, Jabberwocky Toys, they're doing a lot of cool toys and stuff. They've got statues, they've got figurines and so forth. They've got a number of things they'll be doing. And so their big thing are these really cool kind of blown up punch things. They've got these, statues they'll make that are hands that can do crazy things and so forth. But these little blown up punch things, I know it's weird to see here. I know this doesn't quite make the point here. Trust me, these things were a hit at Toy Fair. A lot of companies were excited about it. We've got a couple of major retailers who are excited about it. And the CEO of the company is a really cool guy. You're going to see a video with the CEO and all of our experiences at Toy Fair coming soon from our video team. Also, next week, we're going to have 1 or 2 of the principals of Jabberwocky Toys, which, by the way, includes someone who was a principal in the creation of Skylanders, if you remember those toys, Skylanders. But folks, why am I bringing this up? Because they are going to be not only helping us make this next round, this final round, a success by supporting some of the prizes that we're going to be offering to all of you, and of course to the grand prize winner. But on top of that, they're going to be giving away for the grand prize a contract for one of the artists you saw here today to work on some images for their own upcoming collectible projects. So Jabberwocky Toys, some really great things happen with this company. They're a new company, some great write-ups about them. You'll be hearing a lot more about them from some of your favorite toy resources online and on YouTube. But next week, you'll get a chance to meet some of them directly. We'll talk to them, find out a little bit more about their plans are, especially with Saturday AM. And then likewise, you will have a chance to vote for the winner of this 2020 March Art Madness, who will then go on to help them design a future collectible. So that's really cool, folks. Trust me, you're going to have a blast with these guys. They're really cool and they're really fun, just like Ryan today from Pandemoni Toys. So we're really excited to have a chance to be working with so many cool people who care about art and care about the artists involved in what they're creating. So with that being said, again, please go vote. You can go to our website, www.saturday-am.com/madness. I want to thank all of our amazing judges. I'll turn it back over to Whyt here in a minute to get his sign off, but thank everyone, all of our judges for showing up. Ryan, thank you so much for attending. You have any final words, Ryan?
Well, to thank you for having me. This was really cool, man. I'm blown away by the quality of art and your guys' organization and getting this all together. So kudos to you and to your fans.
You heard it here first, folks. Ryan is going to make toys on Saturday, and you heard it here, folks.
There you go. It's a deal.
Morgan, any final words?
No, again, always impressed with the work that you guys turn out for each round of March Art Madness. Really excited to come back, hopefully, for the final live review, and just see what you guys do. This is the end game now. I'm really excited.
Yep. Jay Oden, any final words?
Thank you all for joining this chat and just watching this entire review show. It was really fun. Thanks for having me again. And hope everybody out there is staying safe, washing their hands, not touching their face, try to limit your exposure in the outside world. I know it's crazy right now, but let's just stay positive and keep on rocking.
Cool. All right. And Jackie, any final words before we turn it back over to Whyt?
I really loved seeing all of the different kind of interpretations of the artwork, and I think this whole thing with alternation has been like really cool, something we've never done before as a company, and I can't wait to see more experiences like this in the future.
Well said, folks. Again, thank you so much for supporting Saturday, and we so appreciate it. I want to thank again Whyt Manga for letting us have access to his amazing fans on his channel. Whyt, I turn it back over to you. Thank you again. Sorry, Ryan.
Are we going to hear the votes as they stand right now, or is that a surprise for the web? Our votes, the tally. I wasn't paying. I didn't tally it myself. So.
Oh, I don't know, Jackie. Do you have them tally real quickly? Do you want to give the tally on that?
Yeah, I have the votes. I just I missed the part. I know you guys went over all of the artists. I was kind of moderating the chat, so I missed what you guys voted for Oak and Oats, and then I missed your vote, Fred, for Artist Always. But other than that, I got everyone's vote.
Okay, so it'll have to be a surprise, Ryan, but we'll post it. We'll have it on the website tomorrow.
So that's a good reason to go to Saturday-am.com.
That's right, folks. You can vote up until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, Eastern Standard Time. So please, if you're on a different time zone, if you got things going on this evening with the Easter holiday, we totally understand. Just come back. Make sure you check out the website before 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. With that, turn it back over to Whyt. Whyt, again, thank you so much for letting us have access to your channel.
Yeah, pleasure, and we'll continue. Hopefully, everything continues to work out right. I think this was fun to do. I thank all the people who showed up for giving us an hour and a half of your time. This is Whyt Manga, and we're out.
All right, folks, take care. Folks, one last thing. This video will stay up on Whyt's channel for most of the day, so if you missed it, you can check it up on his YouTube channel. After that, as Whyt said earlier, please make sure you go to our website. You go to our YouTube channel, Saturday AM. It's youtube.com/myfootprint, which is our parent company, and become a subscriber. We have some great upcoming videos. We have all of the previous videos of the live review show for this, and we have some upcoming shows that will also feature exclusive content made by Whyt Manga that you'll only find on our YouTube channel. Also, support our app, www.saturday-am.com/app. We have a brand new magazine coming out today, later this evening, exclusively on the app. You'll see more beautiful artwork you can check out from artists around the world. Thank you guys so much. Keep rocking for diversity and manga and comic book content, and keep supporting amazing creators like Whyt Manga and all of our great artists. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys next week for the final round. Take care, everybody.